Hello everyone, I hope you all are happy and healthy. Today I want to talk about Disney Channel's newest upcoming live-action musical series called Electric Bloom. Now, the series is not out yet, but I just wanted to talk about some of the information that we currently know about the show and share my initial thoughts. And I just wanted to share my initial thoughts about the show and my expectations for this series. So let's start with the official summary of the show that came from a Billboard article. It says, following in the footsteps of Hannah Montana and the Cheetah Girls before them, Electric Bloom are Disney's newest fictional pop stars. The new musical comedy series Electric Bloom tells the story of how three budding BFFs, Posey, Jade, and Tulip, became the biggest band in the world and the best friends in the universe, according to a press announcement. Grammy and Emmy-winning songwriter Diane Warren wrote the majority of the music for the series, including the theme song and all of the songs in the pilot episode. So just from the summary alone, this series has already grabbed my attention. I have been waiting for Disney Channel to make another music-themed series. The last music-themed show that I can remember from Disney, at least when it comes to their live-action shows, is Austin and Ally. I know there have been other shows like the High School Musical series that probably featured a lot of music, or other shows like Liv and Maddie or The Villains of Valley View that had main characters who were artists. For instance, Liv was a famous singer, and Amy and Hartley from Villains of Valley View started their own band called Mad Heart. But Electric Bloom seems like it's going to be all about music, which I absolutely love. And from the Billboard article, Diane Warren, who is a Grammy and Emmy-winning songwriter, wrote the majority of the music in this series. Now, we'll discuss the 4 songs that have been released so far later, but knowing that they have a Grammy-winning songwriter working on the music gives me high hopes that the music in this series will be great. Now let's talk about the teaser that they released for the series. It's only 1 minute long, and it's basically just the girls narrating a short story about their band and the progress that they've made as artists, how they came up with their band name and stuff like that, while showing some brief clips from the actual show. As far as teasers go, it's a pretty good introduction to this series and what it will be about. It seems like the girls, Jade, Posey, and Tulip, didn't really know each other before starting a band together, and I actually think it's a really good idea to have a show where the best friends don't start off as best friends at the beginning. I think that gives the audience an opportunity to see how they became closer as friends throughout the show. We don't really get much of a glimpse into each of the characters' personalities yet, but again, I don't think you can really expect that in just a 1 minute teaser. Okay, now let's talk about the episode titles and episode descriptions. And by the way, all the information about the episode titles and episode descriptions are from the Disney Beat, so definitely make sure to follow them on X, also known as Twitter, and YouTube to keep up to date on Disney Channel news. Anyways, here are all the episode titles that have been released so far. How It Started, How It Almost Ended, How We Rocked Homecoming, How We Got Crushed, How We Made a Tiny Mistake, How We Found Howie, How to Not Make a Music Video, How We Danced the Night Away, How It All Came Out in the Wash. I noticed that all the titles start with the word how. This must be because the series was originally called How We Became the Biggest Band in the World, which I am really glad that they changed the name. The previous title was kind of long and was also kind of generic and unoriginal. Electric Bloom is much more unique, and I think it's a much better title for the show, and it's also a cool name for a band too. Anyways, I like how all the episodes start with the word how. I always like it when Disney Channel shows have titles that are really similar to each other or have some connection to like the show, like how Shake It Up episodes always end in it up, so like Tunnel It Up or Review It Up, for example. Anyways, now let's go through the episode descriptions for each of the episodes airing in July. How It Started. After being forced to perform together in Battle of the Bands, Posey, Jade, and Tulip come together despite their differences and pull off a performance that's truly electric. So yeah, that episode description is pretty self-explanatory. The girls were forced to be in a band for a Battle of the Bands competition, but eventually learn how to work together despite their differences. Now that sounds like a very typical Disney Channel kind of plot, but I don't usually expect much from the first episode of a show, and it does seem like the first episode will simply focus on setting up the main aspect of the show, which is good. Next is How It Almost Ended. Worried that the band may fall apart because of their differences, Tulip books Electric Bloom for their first gig. The girls ultimately learn their differences make them stronger. Now, this episode seems like it's connected to the last episode because this episode description again focuses on the difference that each of them have. It kind of sounds like it will have a similar plot to the first episode, which is a bit repetitive, but I guess I can understand why one episode wouldn't be able to solve all the issues they have as a band, especially if the characters are really as different from each other as the episode descriptions are implying. Also, given that this episode is titled How It Almost Ended, and the first episode was titled How It Started, yeah, it really seems like these two episodes are heavily connected to each other in terms of the storylines. Next is How We Rocked Homecoming. Posey worries Shelly Sharp is mad at her after Electric Bloom wins the homecoming performance slot. In the end, Posey learns that not everyone is going to like her, and that's okay. Okay, so finally this episode is about something other than how different the characters are from each other. I think an episode about learning that not everyone is going to like you is a good idea. I don't really have much else to say about this episode description. I'm probably not going to have much to say about any of these episode descriptions. I'm just sort of reading them to you guys. Next is How We Got Crush. The girls' crushes on Lucas Jasper come to a head at the school musical, wreaking havoc on opening night. In the end, they make a pact to never let a boy come between them again. You know, one thing I'm noticing about all of the episode descriptions is that they describe the lesson that the characters learn in the episode. Usually episode descriptions don't really spoil the lesson that the characters learn at the end of the episode, but I guess it doesn't really matter that much. Anyways, the part in the episode description where they talk about not letting a guy get in the way of their friendship, for some reason, just made me think about the Hannah Montana episode where, like, Jake had asked Lily to the dance or something, and while Miley was okay with it at first, she then got jealous, and then Miley and Lily started fighting over Jake at the dance, but then they eventually worked things out. Sorry for getting a bit off topic there. It just reminded me of that episode for some reason. But anyways, yeah, this sounds like it could be a fun episode, even if a storyline like this has already been done before. Next is How We Made a Tiny Mistake. After a song they post gets no attention online, the girls make trendy videos to try and get followers until they realize chasing likes is nothing compared to having real fans. Again, this sounds like this might be a good episode, but at the same time, I feel like the storylines in these episode descriptions aren't really anything unique. Like, I feel like there's been a lot of Disney episodes about characters trying to have a lot of followers only to realize that that doesn't matter in the end. But maybe the show will put its own spin on these topics, like perhaps the episodes themselves will be more interesting and unique than what the episode descriptions are describing. And I mean, they probably will be, since you can't really know what an episode will be like from a one-sentence episode description. And this is probably especially the case for a show that hasn't even premiered yet. And finally, we have How We Found Howie. Tulip and Posey suggest a sleepover so an upset Jade will open up to them. Tulip and Posey learn to respect Jade's boundaries, and Jade learns she can be vulnerable with her friends. Now this episode actually sounds more interesting. I haven't seen many episodes about friends learning how to not overstep their boundaries and not always try to make their friends tell them things that they aren't ready to share with them. So I'm glad they are doing an episode about this topic. And yeah, that's all the episode descriptions we have available so far. The episode descriptions for August aren't available yet. Okay, now we can finally talk about the 4 songs that have been released. So the first song that was released is called No Limits. And No Limits, I will say, is probably like the weakest song that they released so far. It's okay, I like it, but I don't love it. It's a very like basic song, like basic pop song. It sounds like, you know, songs I've heard lots of times before, and I mean, there's nothing really special about it, you know? It's fine. I'm not saying it's a bad song, but it's just okay. Next is Wolfpack Energy. Now, this song is actually like really, really good. It's actually like really interesting and fun, and like the beat or like the instrumental, it reminds me like the first thing it reminded me of was Chapel Rowan's Hot to Go, like it, because like both songs have like that same 80s sort of like synth like that plays in the instrumental. I'm not saying that they copied the song or anything. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying that like the two songs just remind me of one another. But that's fine, because I mean both songs are really good. So yeah, so I really love Wolfpack Energy. And then next we have The Lies We Tell Our Hearts. Now this is a more emotional song with more emotional lyrics, which I really like how there's a little bit of variety here, so it's not just all like upbeat songs. I also like how they kind of transition in this song from like this more like acoustic kind of sound. So then the chorus and the rest of the song becomes more of like this pop rock like sort of sound like to it. Like I really really love that, especially because I love rock, I love pop rock. So yeah, like I really really like this song too. I think I like Wolfpack Energy a little bit more just because it's more fun and upbeat, but I also like really really love this song too. These two songs are definitely, like I said, much better than No Limits. And then finally we have One Little Spark, and I really like this song too. I love the melody that is in like the verses. Like I love like the verses of this song a lot, but the chorus is also really great too, and it's just like a fun kind of like inspiring song. Well, it's not like that inspiring or anything, but it's like a little, encouraging song. It's a really good song to me. And yeah, I don't know which song I could say is like my number one favorite, because like I feel like it's probably going to be a tie between like Wolfpack Energy and then like maybe One Little Spark, but I'm not sure. Like honestly, I feel like that Wolfpack Energy, The Lies We Tell Our Hearts, and then One Little Spark, I feel like that those songs are just, I don't know how I would rank them necessarily, but I just really like all of them. I know like No Limits is fine, but it definitely is like the weakest song I think out of the 4 songs they released so far. And yeah, that's just my opinion though. Please let me know what songs you like the most. As far as like how these songs compare to other Disney Channel like songs, I will say that like these songs definitely, I don't think that these songs are as good as like the songs you'd hear in Austin and Ally or Hannah Montana or anything like that. But I do still think that these songs are, they're good enough, and they're not spectacular. They're not the most amazing songs ever, but they are really still fun songs. And yeah, again, nothing that, again, this can't really compare to like Austin and Ally songs or anything like that, but who knows, maybe the songs in the rest of the series will be at that level where they'll be just as good as Austin and Ally songs. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. I wouldn't say that like these songs are like to the level of like some of Disney Channel's like best music, but I also wouldn't say that they're like bad or anything. Like I said, they're still really really good songs. So yeah, overall, I just wanted to make a short video just chatting about this show, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to this series. I'm not going to get my hopes up too high because that typically leads to disappointment, but I do think that this show has the potential to be really amazing, and I'm really glad we're getting another musical series because some of my favorite Disney shows like Austin and Ally and Hannah Montana are musical series. I might do a review of the first 2 episodes if I have time. I most likely won't have the time to review every episode that comes out because I have other things I'm working on. But anyways, what are your first impressions of the series? Don't forget to watch the 2-episode premiere of the series on July 10th along with Zombies 4. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please remember to love yourself and be kind to everyone. Bye!